Hey, Josh, welcome to
Thank
Act
you.
Dad, the Awesome Dad Show. How are you today?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Man, it is a real pleasure. I've been watching your story here over on TikTok for a couple months, and I got to say, I am intrigued and I'm very interested in learning more about what you do.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, well, me and my boys kind of started YouTube probably about 6 or 7 months ago. It was just as a way for me and Jackson and Calvin are my sons to connect, have a good time, have fun. I was having trouble connecting with them, kind of just on their level, and YouTube was the thing that kind of connected us at first. Somehow we stumbled upon TikTok and started to make comedy videos, and it's been really fun. And it's always nice to have an audience too, and we've kind of built one in about 6 months on TikTok. We're at about 216,000, 217,000, something like that. So it's been really fun.
It's really remarkable how quickly y'all have grown. What would you attribute that to? Do you think TikTok is just a place to be? Do you think it's the unique angle that you're attacking it from? Because I thought TikTok was for kids. What are you doing on there?
Well, that's a good question. And I thought TikTok was for kids as well. But if you're scrolling through and you're actually listening and watching to some of the content, it's definitely not for kids. There's some very adult content on there that you should definitely not let anyone in this world watch, let alone kids. Um, I don't report many people on that. I've reported some things on there that I'm like, wow, I can't believe I just heard what I heard. But you're right. I'm 37. I really shouldn't be on there. I don't know what the success is about. I really feel like it's just a blessing. Honestly, it's just been cool to see how quick it grows. It's hard to figure out sometimes what to put on there because you put certain things on there and it does great. You put other things on there and they fail. Like when we try to work on a trend on TikTok, it fails for us. So we put on original content, it blows up. So I guess they just want to see what we do, which is
Well,
cool.
and I think that's a big key to life on social media is just to be real and be you. When you're trying to
Mm,
copy other people, and you're trying to chase that latest trend, I think that's when things can kind of go wrong. As I think as fathers and as men, it's a real danger when you start
mhm,
comparing yourself to others. And
exactly.
being true to yourself, I think, is really important. So I want to back it up a little bit. You kind of
Sure.
just drove us right into this here. What um how impactful has creating video content online been for your relationship with your two boys? How has that brought y'all together?
um, it's a thing. So, kind of in my daily life, I do creative work, and it's a way I've been able to start to be able to teach them some tools of the trade. I mean, I don't build houses or farm or anything like that. I create content as my job anyway. So a thing I've been able to teach them, which has been amazing. And to see them grow and to learn the equipment and to learn how to, you know, try and try again and don't give up and try to make things really good has really brought us closer together. And we have a lot of fun. And I'm not gonna lie. There's times where we're at each other's throats, kind of like, it's three dudes in a room, really, which is awesome. So there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of pushback, but it's been able to help me teach them how to push back and how to, if you really feel passionate about an idea, here's how to push it forward and kind of present it to someone and say, here's what I think we should do, and here's why. And it's been great. The last video we did on TikTok, Jackson, who's 11, wrote, and it blew up.
Nice.
it's it's really fun to see. He just writes it out of nowhere, and I'm like, that's really funny. And we put it on there, and it just goes crazy. And I try to shield them a little bit from looking at likes and looking at views. Really, one thing we pay attention to is views, but we try not to pay attention to likes or comments because
That's
that's tough. You don't want to read the comments.
Yeah, that can
they're
be
not
a
always they're not always good.
no, that rabbit hole can get you into some trouble. One of the cool
Sure.
things that and one of the things that I've really liked about your show is again, you're not just peppering in fakeness, which I think is really prevalent on social media. You had one video where your kid was just like, "Dad, I don't feel like making a TikTok video today," and he stormed back into his room. Was
Right.
that real, or was that kind of like, we're gonna make a play on like, oh, I just don't want to do this today? Because it seemed like he was a little like, I've had it. But I like
Well,
that
no,
video.
that was totally real. Like, actually, most of our stuff is real. It's from real moments that have happened. Like, the one video that kind of launched us was, we talked about your weenus, which is your elbow, and that actually happened. That actually happened a long time ago. And my wife was like, "You guys should do a video on that." And I was like, "All right." And that was the first one that kind of blew up, and we were just like, really, that? So it was the things that we do that, like you said, are more genuine and have happened to us and that we create, they just do way better. It's almost like, I feel like everyone on TikTok is always copying off of everyone. That's how it's built on TikTok, is to do trends and to do voiceovers of other people. But for us,
Right.
they've kind of changed the algorithm, and they've said, hey, if Uploads of Fun doesn't do original content, just don't show it to anyone. They want to see our original stuff.
That's fair. And when you build up a large following of hundreds of thousands of people, they're
Hmm.
following you because they want to see you, right?
Sure.
I heard a quote that was interesting the other day. It said, "Don't try to be better than the other guy, just try to be different." And that was something
Mhm.
that I thought was really interesting. So I want to know a little bit about your motto. Fun is a language we all speak. How'd you come up with that?
Well, I was just trying to come up with something cool, and it just kind of hit me. Like, one thing we want to do with Uploads of Fun is we want to build a community of people, all people. Um, we don't have any time for hate or racism or anything like that. We don't teach that in our home, and I think stuff like that is taught in the home. I think that's where it comes from, and that's where it needs to die.
Mm,
So, fun is a language that we all speak is kind of our way of saying everyone can hear that language, which is fun. So just, I was actually just sitting in church not paying attention, and was sketching in a notebook and just kind of came up with it. And that's kind of our mantra. We want to bring people together with laughter, and I think that's, everyone needs laughter. I mean, I think all the time laughter and fun are something that can bring people, just, it's a level playing field.
that's you brought up a very interesting point that I haven't gotten into in the show before, and that
Hmm.
hatred is taught at home. And I
Oh
think that
yeah.
that's really profound in this day and age. We kind of, there's this belief that hate isn't born at home, but it's born on the internet, it's born on social media, it's born on Twitter. And to be fair, there's a lot of toxic stuff online.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Not gonna disagree with that.
So I think this is interesting. So do you think that where social media is the symptom of the hate, do you think it can also be the cure to the hate? Do you think that that's possible?
I think so, but that's going to take a lot of work. I think where it has to start is, like I said, in the home. And kids like mine, I hope, and I've seen it in the real world. They're not on social media other than on our channels. I've seen them help other kids out. I've seen them encourage other kids. I see them at home, they're at each other's throats. They're brothers, and that's what they do. So it's hard, but then I get people telling me, "Hey, Jackson at the spelling bee was slapping five with everyone, encouraging kids when they got words wrong." And, that just like hit me like, wow, we're doing something right. We can't see it at home, but we can see it outside our four walls. So I think it has to start at home. But I think kids who are online, if it's taught at home, they can carry it online just as easy as they can carry the hate there.
Yeah.
So it can happen, but the hate, you're right, it's very prevalent. And when we go live on TikTok and we have 300 or 400 people in there, you see a lot of hate. People think hate is a way to get attention, which it is. And I block them, and I try to tell people, hey, we don't have any room for that in here. There's so much going on in the world. There's no reason to hate. And we've had good conversations. Sometimes I feel kind of like a motivational speaker in there, but I'm trying to help these kids sometimes because all they're looking to do is get famous. And I'm like, that's not the answer. Because if you're not happy now, when you're famous, you're still not going to be happy.
Oh, that's so profound, and that's so true. It's the biggest lie of, oh, I'm just going to win the lottery. I'm going to go viral.
Right.
And then I'm just going to live on a beach. I'm never going to have to do anything. But I just think that's a miserable existence. And look,
Exactly.
it takes a long time to get there. And you
Hmm.
certainly need to have your basic needs met. But mm, that's definitely a scary type of thought. So
Sure.
you also mentioned that your kids aren't on social media. You're creating
Hmm.
content for it. So they're obviously going to be understanding how it works, how to get people, how to reach people, how to get likes and follows
Sure. Sure.
and whatnot. How do you balance creating content for social media, yet keeping them off of the platform? Do they ever give you a lot of kickback on that?
Not at all. I
Wow.
I honestly don't know why, because I've heard other people that don't give their kids phones and things like that that get a lot of pushback, get a lot of why can't I have a phone? I just want to be on social media. But so far, I think it's just been kind of um, ignorance is bliss for them right now, which is great. I kind of one of my heroes is Mr. Rogers. So, and if you look back, he hated television, but he knew it
Wow.
was a tool. He knew it was a tool that he could use to reach people. I hate social media, but I know that it's a tool to reach people, and it's the tool of this day and age to reach people, to kind of bring people together. YouTube especially is a big one. Now we're not as big on YouTube yet, but I think it's only a matter of time if we just keep working and putting up good content. YouTube's a lot harder in my opinion because I want to do a fully produced show, and
Right.
working full time and stuff can't do it all.
Oh, it's a huge beast. It's a huge beast. The editing,
Yeah.
I don't think that people really understand how much work goes into all of the editing.
Yeah.
Shooting a 5-minute video doesn't take long, but it's putting
Right.
all the clips together and the overlays and the effects and the text and the sound, and it's definitely a different beast. So,
Sure.
and I kind of empathize with you a little bit, Josh. I'm not a huge fan of social media. Before I started the
Hmm.
Act Dad project, I was basically just using Facebook a little bit during the day to keep up with friends.
Yeah.
But just like you recognized, I recognize that if you've got a message, we live in a very unique period of time where you need social media to reach people. So,
Right.
with all that said, I want to bring it
Sure.
into a question for you.
Okay.
Do you struggle with maintaining your relationship with the real world while still managing all this social media stuff? Because it seems like since we've been talking, my phone's blipped and bleeped about a dozen times.
Hmm.
How do you handle that? How do you manage the real life with your family versus the digital life with all your followers and social media network?
Um, what I found is you have to have scheduling. You have to have a balance. You have to cut it off at a certain time. You just have to.
Mm,
I could honestly, I'm just as guilty as anyone else is on social media. I can sit on my phone, especially when a video is going viral, and watch views pile in, watch likes pile in. It doesn't do anything for me though, but I could sit there and do it. It's just like you don't even think about it. You're just sitting there and doing it. You gotta, I think you gotta have scheduling. You gotta say, we're gonna do a video this day, and this day. We're gonna go live this day. The rest of the time, either put it down. Me and my boys have started to like work out together. That's a special
oh,
time that we have. Um, on the weekend, I try to get the videos done early on Saturday for TikTok, and then have the rest of the day. Um, you got to watch out though. You're right. It's tough, and you just got to be conscious of it all the time.
yeah.
Um, Guard your heart, because yeah, I mean, you start getting all these viewers and you get all these followers, and you start to have delusions of grandeur, and you got to come back to the real world. Because my goal is, I do want to get huge, and I want to take this message farther than I ever thought possible, which is where I am right now. And but I still want to always have that connection at home. That's the most important thing. If that's not there, then it's all for nothing.
I couldn't agree with you more. It's definitely something that I struggle with and I think about pretty
Yeah.
regularly because I don't know about you, but I started Act a Dad not only as a way to get my creative outlet out there, to release
Hmm.
that creativity inside of me, but also as a way to be able to spend more time with my family, to connect with my family. And then I
Yeah.
soon realized that you're kind of like, it's like a double-edged sword, right? I'm getting more time with my family, but it's always bleeping at me, and I can't, I can't help it. And I think that
Yeah.
it's kind of funny. A lot of people will parrot or understand or say rather that social media is psychologically designed to just trigger you to keep looking at it and keep scrolling. But
Yeah.
it's like they don't. It's like people don't understand when they're in the middle of it. I mean, have you ever been in a place where you've just been scrolling for 15 minutes and you're like, what just happened? Where did my
Oh,
evening go? I
oh,
mean,
for sure. Oh, for sure. And what I've tried to do now is, um, if I'm scrolling and I notice that I get into like, almost like a comatose state, I try to pop myself out of it and go do something valuable. Whether it's hang out with Calvin, who's my youngest, and play Beyblades. Jackson likes to draw. Maybe hang out with him. He likes to watch Parks and Rec now, only certain episodes, obviously, but it's really fun to watch certain episodes of Parks and Rec with my 11-year-old and just hang out and talk about it and laugh. And um, just trying not to waste time, I think, is the biggest goal. So even if it's like I'm scrolling for an hour and I come up with a video idea or something while I'm sitting, write it, start writing it, write it now and have it ready to go. That's what I do. I do now more than anything is when I'm wasting time, instead of scrolling on social media, I'll write down my content ideas. And that's what people don't do is they have all these content ideas. They never create them. They never write them down and they're just gone. So kind of keeping myself busy, I think is the most important thing. Cause I think the trap of sitting there is set for everyone every day.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, a lot of very, very, very intelligent people are designing this and using data to help to design it. But I think
Right.
one of the things that you've done that's really smart, Josh, is you've gotten your boys involved in the process, writing the script, looking at angles. I think that's a really
Yeah.
good thing. That's a really smart thing to do. One of the things that I've run into when talking with parents,
Hmm.
and I can see both sides of the coin, but I want to hear what your feedback or input is on this. There's some
Okay.
parents who are like, I don't want to put my kids on video. I don't want to put them on social media. They're not old enough. I don't want to exploit them. I don't want them to be angry at me in 15 years. I put them on social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on the other side of the camp, just to be straightforward. I mean, if you see my Instagram
Yeah.
and all this, I'm on the other side of the camp. I want to hear from you. What would you say to those parents who don't want to put their kids on social media? What would you say to them?
Um, I would say you need to talk to the kids. I mean, if that's something you're interested in doing, but you're not wanting to do it because of a selfish reason, you need to look at yourself and say, why am I not doing this? Um, Also, like, what is your goal? I mean, if your goal is just to like have something the rest of your family around the country can see, do it. If your goal is to get huge and famous, I mean, have a talk with your kids about it. In our house, if we've had times where no one wants to do, like you mentioned that video where he doesn't want to do a TikTok and he storms out. If he doesn't want to do a TikTok, we're not going to do a TikTok. I'm not. The day I have to force them is a terrible day. Like I don't want to be there. I hope that never happens. Um, and even if we do, we're like, hey, we don't want to do a video, but we do it, and then we see it and we watch it together. It's like, oh man, I'm so glad we did that. And we've talked about people need the content. This is what people don't think about. People need the content you're going to produce. There's someone out there who's sitting alone. Maybe they're depressed, maybe they're anxious or something, and they need just a little bit of a pick me up. And I know that's like, I don't mean to lift us up that way, but maybe they see it and it changes their day. They just smile or they have a different outlook. I think that's huge. I think you need to look at your heart and why you're doing it first and then talk to your kids. I mean, you definitely want to have their permission. We've talked to our kids, what you mentioned about like seeing it 10 years down the road, or, their fiance comes over and we're like, hey, 10 years ago, they were on TikTok. You want to check these videos out? Like this one about weenus is really funny. We've had those conversations. We're like, those days are coming, and they're like, we don't care. I'm like, cool.
Not yet. Not yet.
Exactly.
No, that's great. But I mean,
Exactly.
I think if you've got like a positive message and you're on the same page, I think it comes down to communication. So
Yeah.
I want to go back to one of the points you had made where, hey, if my boy doesn't want to make a TikTok, we're not going to make a TikTok. Um,
Hmm.
so I want to kind of give you a little pushback on that. So let's say that you've devised this goal of, okay, we're going to make one video a day for a
Hmm.
year or whatever your goal is. And then
Yeah.
one day they're like, you know what, Dad, I don't feel like doing it. I just want to watch this. I want to do that. Do you feel like it's important to say, hey, look, we made this goal, our macro goal. This is important. You committed to doing this. Let's finish it. Is that something that's ever come up or that you've thought about?
Oh yeah. And you don't see my wife in a lot of the videos, but her name's Rachel. She's amazing. We get a lot of questions like, do they have a mom? Where is she? Yeah, she's here. Usually she's behind the scenes. Sometimes she's running the camera. Sometimes she helps out in the situation you're talking about. We do talk about goals, and if somebody's not feeling it one night, we talk through it. And we've had that before where let's do this video, or let's do a couple tonight. That way we don't have to do any for the rest of the week, because we're trying
Mm,
to keep the pace of about 5 to 6 a week. TikToks, and they're only 15 seconds, but 15 seconds of really good video can take a half an hour, 45 minutes to make. So yes, that's a great point, because we want him to learn to try and not give up. And
yeah,
sometimes, as you know, like in the morning, you wake up, it's time to go to work. I don't want to go.
right.
And I'm like, I got to push myself. And that's kind of what I want him to learn is, you know, through adversity, you just never know if you can push through it. You never know what you're going to get to. So if you just give up today, which is kind of the speech I was getting, if you just give up right now, you don't know what you could have done or accomplished. So if it goes beyond that, we might go calm down. We might go somewhere or just chill out for a little while and then come back to it.
Sure.
Um, we've never gotten to a place where we're like, oh my gosh, we don't put up a video tonight, this is bad. Oh my gosh, we're gonna miss out. I don't want to get to that place, because as good as we're doing on there, I still don't feel like I've figured out TikTok's algorithm. But I think we just continue to be blessed, and a little bit of luck sprinkled in there. So we're just going to keep going with that. But I hope that answers your question.
No, it absolutely does. And spoiler, you're never going to figure out the algorithm because as soon as you figured it out, they switch it up again. That's something I've learned, uh, during my short stint in social media.
That
And
kind of makes me feel better.
yeah, it's just they always change. As soon as you figured it out, then it's like, no, you can't use hashtags, or you've used too many hashtags, or your post is too long.
Hmm.
They're
Yeah,
they're always switching it up. So
sure.
you've got to be a student of the platform, I think, and
Right.
having conversations like this. Um, but to kind of go back to one of your points, I think that
Hmm.
teaching your kids to commit to something and see it through is incredibly important. I
Yeah.
ran into that this soccer season. My daughter said she wants to play soccer. She wants to sign up for soccer. And
Oh yeah.
then 30 minutes into the practice, she's like, I don't want to play soccer. I'm like, too bad. You committed to it. We don't have to enroll again, but
Right.
we we've got to see it through. Like let's look at the big picture. So
Sure.
I really, I mean, I think that what you're doing now, what you're building with your boys is going to be, it's going to really set them up for success as they go into the next phase of their life, because they're going to understand grinding out the days they don't feel like it. They're going to understand
Sure.
how to reach people on social media, which I don't think is going anywhere. I don't think it's going
No,
anywhere.
no. It'll just be, what platform will it be 5 years from now?
Right.
Which, it looks like it'll be TikTok. I mean, but you don't know. And I don't know if you ever watch Gary V on TikTok, or have seen anything that he does.
Oh, sure.
He has some great points about social media that I have to listen to sometimes. Like, don't worry about likes, don't worry about views. It doesn't matter. Just keep building. And that's kind of something I preach to myself a lot. You have an audience now. Just keep building. Like, do your own thing too. Don't worry about the trends, because they don't work for you anyways. So,
Well, one of the things I think that I've told myself, and I think is super important whenever you're building something and you're passionate about something, and again you've set up this macro vision, is you have to
hmm,
understand every day is going to have ups and downs, right? The bar graph is going to be
yep,
spiking like this every day. But when you take a step back and you look at the macro of what you're trying to accomplish, as long as that line is steadily going up, you're moving in the right direction. And
Yeah.
that's one of the things I love about what Gary Vee preaches is patience.
Hmm.
Put a plan in place, and then just, don't get so caught up in the day to day.
Yeah.
You've got to see you got to see the big picture.
Play for the long game. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, not just like you said, not the short game. Just get in there, grind, and like sometimes I think because I'm 37, I'm old and it's over in 3 years when I'm 40. But it's like, no, that's not true at all. And my wife is great because she speaks truth to me all the time. She's like, no, you're fine. Like, come on, stop. Plus, I'm an artist, so and I bet you probably consider yourself a creative as well. Creatives have high highs and low lows. So when
Oh yeah.
that bar graph is spiking, it's spiking up here and then down here. You gotta guard your heart, pick yourself back up, and doing what we're doing, we're surrounding ourselves with our family too. So it's even better. It is something I want to do full time. I love dreaming about being able to do content full time and being with the family more often. I think it would be great.
Absolutely. So, Josh, before we get
Yeah.
into the rapid fire round of the show, where
Oh,
can everyone find you? Where can we find Josh Cooper and Uploads of Fun?
so on Instagram and TikTok, our handle is at Uploads of Fun. So at Uploads of Fun. There's underscores, but you can find us just going Uploads of Fun. And if you go to uploadsoffun.com, you can check out our merch and stuff like that. We had a really generous offer from an artist to do some anime characters of us. So we put that on a shirt and it looks really awesome. So I'm really stoked about that. So check that out. YouTube is just youtube.com/uploads of fun. I feel like I'd love to just be on one platform, but I don't think that's allowed these days. I mean, but we're on everything. So you can find us. It's pretty simple. Uploads of Fun.
And I'm definitely going to have plenty of links in the show notes. They're going to be up or down. They're going to be around. So look out for
Appreciate
those.
that.
All right, cool. So Josh, let's get into the rapid fire here. What is your
Okay.
favorite story to either tell or read to your kids?
Favorite story to tell or read to my kids? Whoa. We read the Bible. I mean, that's the one
Okay.
thing we read together. So we're in Psalms right now.
Okay. You're not going you're not going way deep into like the Deuteronomy Old Testament type stuff then.
Not yet.
Okay. Good deal. Josh, what is your favorite protein at Chipotle?
Oh, steak.
Steak. You like the new carne asada or just the regular steak?
Oh, carne asada is gross. Steak is the best. They
Okay.
tried it. I went in there before and they're like, we don't have any steak. Carne asada is the same thing. And I was like, whoa, hold on. No, it's not. You're fired. First of all, we'll see you. You got a pink slip out back for you. No steak.
It's funny when someone tries to tell you something about your profession. Because listen, I know steak and I know Chipotle, so.
Now, cool story about Chipotle real quick. We actually won a year's worth of Chipotle burritos on TikTok through the burrito challenge, which is amazing.
What?
Yeah. So we're stoked about that.
It's no wonder you want to keep pushing Uploads of Fun. You're getting burritos for life, and you just keep pushing it.
I mean, I love Chipotle. Is there anything else? I mean, come on.
I don't know what they put in there. I think it's the rice. I don't know. It's really good though. For
It's
sure.
really good. Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
It is. Where's your favorite place to vacation with your family?
Cleveland, Ohio. That's where family is. So it's usually where we head. So we love it up there. We get to see family.
Good deal. Pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Nay.
Okay. Strong nay. I like that. If you could
Hard
talk
pass.
if you could talk to anyone in history, who would it be?
I talked to Kurt Cobain.
Kurt Cobain. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's just the first thing that popped in my head. I'd love to just hear his story. I mean,
Roller coaster for sure.
yeah.
Roller coaster. You could put anything on a billboard, Josh. What would you put on that billboard?
Uploadsofun.com.
I love that. I love that. Well, Josh, it's been a ton of fun chatting with you on the Act a
Yeah.
Dad Awesome Dad Show today. I love
Oh,
what you're
cool.
doing on TikTok. I love the videos. I love the connection that you have with your boys. And I think to me, that's what being an Act a Dad is all about. It's about finding things that both you enjoy and your kids enjoy, and just spending that quality time together, man.